Hello, Happy New Year. We've got here, we're in 2021. We're still putting up with all this COVID-19 shit. The amount of people that are losing their lives is just unbelievable. My mum had her first injection, so that's a good thing. I don't really want to dwell on this because, I know how shit it is for everyone and how everyone's feeling so down and that. But so let's try and bring a few smiles to people's faces, eh? All right. So I'm not even going to call this phase 2 tally. I'm going to call this commotion tally because the band kicked off, me, Spug, Chris and Ed, and it ended up being me, Richard, Steve and John Gibbons, but there was a whole load of madness that went between the two. So yes, I think we'll try and get there today, and then phase 2 or 3 or whatever you want to call it can be the latter part of the tally. Like, I suppose musically probably better, well definitely better, but you know what I mean, like the early tally that was what it was meant to be all about, you know what I mean, me and Spug and Ed and Chris and do you know what I mean? But anyway, let's get there. All right, I'll kick this January 21 episode off with a recording of a track called "Just Click It In" that I wrote with Amon in the Fever Dogs days. But I come across it. It's a recording from a rehearsal, actually that West London rehearsal room with the big mirror that I like to blow kisses to myself in. So this is me, Spug, Ed and Chris in West London rehearsing, and it's Just Click It In, and here we go. and that was just click it in at a rehearsal in West London. Now I've got a few tracks that are from the Tally's 4th gig. So the Purple Turtle was the 2nd gig. So the 3rd gig was Belushi's, and then the 4th gig was at the Bull and Gate in Kentish Town, which is like the home venue, if you like, because it's just like a stone's throw from where I grew up and that, where I live and that, and Spug's obviously just up the road. Ed's from West London. Chris, he lived in East London originally, yeah, before he moved that to where his brother lives. So I've got a gig that we played at the Bull and Gate, the 4th gig of the Tally, and I've got, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 tracks that I'm going to play you from then, and then I'll get into some other madness, but I'll kick this off with a track that you definitely would have heard on other episodes, played in different versions of the track. But yeah, this is Fever for the Music. Nice one. Yeah, and that was Fever. Fever for the Music. Alright, so next track that I've got, not sure if this is the way they went in the gig or whatever, but the next track I've got is the one that I wrote with James and Spiros, and it is I'm Just a Lover. So let's fly through these Bull and Gate tracks, and then we can like talk a bit more about madness.
This one's called I'm Just a Lover. This one's for Des and his pals. Is there a love sweeter than mine? Is there a love I could take?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so that was I'm Just a Lover. Great track, but would be good if the piano was still there. Alright, so moving on. Next track I've got from this gig is Mum's the Word, and I will let you listen to that. Nice one. Yes, and that was Mum's the Word. Okay, let's. I'll get you through these tracks at the Bull and Gate a bit quicker, and then we can talk about because there's loads of other stuff to talk about. So Mum's the Word into next up is Blinded by the Way. Okay.
Every day
Yes. So that was Blinded by the Way. Next track will be No One Knows Him. This gig that we're listening to from the Bull and Gate, I can slightly remember it. It was quite a funny gig, because obviously our first couple of gigs weren't really out there. Didn't really tell many people about it, and then Belushi's, we sort of still didn't tell anyone about it, but we was playing in a more vibrant part of Camden, and there was a lot more people there and that. And then the Bull and Gate was the first proper gig that we proper announced, and I was working at UPS at the time, which is just round the corner. The depot is on Regis Road, which is just round the corner from the Bull and Gate. And I remember that night, I put flyers on, when the drivers come back from their day's work or whatever, I stuck a load of flyers on the side, and there was people picking them up, and a lot of them didn't even know that I was a musician. I can't even speak. A musician, a singer of a band, or do you know what I mean? That I even done that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So a lot of them were like, "What? You're in a rock band?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, I suppose I didn't look like much of a rock star in my brand UPS uniform. So a lot of them were picking these flyers up. That venue round the corner, and I was like, yeah. And they's like, sweet, we're coming. You know what I mean? It was a Friday night as well, so that made it even better. You know what I mean? Everyone's finishing work, picking up these flyers, what's this? And then the dispatch guys were like, oh, John Chapman, yeah, he's a singer of a rock band, they're playing around the corner tonight. So it was quite funny because we had quite a lot of UPS drivers there, we had a few of the supervisors there, and then obviously we had all my crazy mates and all that, and yeah, it's quite a laugh. So next up is No One Knows Him. Yeah, obviously No One Knows Him's the classic, innit? It's from Phase One Voice, me and Amon, 15 years old, writing it together, and it's still survived the whole lot of the Voice, the Fever Dogs, and now it is in the tally, still alive today. Alright, yeah, so No One Knows Him, sweet.
And if you're not doing nothing tomorrow night, Old Street, the Legion.
Yes. That was No One Knows Him. The classic Chapman Amazandi track. Don't matter who you play that track with, just top source. Yeah, okay, so I have got one more track left from this gig. It's a song called She's Got Fantasy, and it is by me and Spuggy. I suppose after all these years, me and Spug had to start writing a couple of tracks together, and yes, this is one of them. So let's listen to this, and then we can get on to more of the commotion before the gentle waters. Alright, yeah, sweet. She's Got Fantasy. Yes, and that was She's Got Fantasy. Okay, so so we played a few more gigs after this. Well, it's probably about another 7 gigs, because we was like playing one a week at one point. So the band was me, Spuggy, Ed, and Chris. But if you look back at the history of The Voice, like, you know that I like to change it up. Well, I don't like to change it up, it just seems to change up. After about another 7 gigs, I was given the phone call from Chris, sort of telling me that he weren't too happy with Spug and that, and his guitar playing and that, but do you know what I mean? Spug's my mate. So I basically said to Chris, I said, well, look, if you can't get on with him, then do you know what I mean? Where do you want to go? You know what I mean? And looks like the only way is to go out the door. So see you later. So Chris left the band, and then Ed stops turning up to rehearsals. I can't really remember very well, but he he just stopped turning up to rehearsals, and it was making life very hard for us. Like, he was a nice geezer, but yeah, I think it was time for us to go out and search. And the next bass player was the first one to be found, and that was a guy called Shan, a Spanish geezer. He was a top bloke. Yeah, he's a top geezer, Shan. So we started rehearsing, me, Spug and Shan in wherever we could, really. Like, do you know what I mean? We was drummerless, but yeah, we started rehearsing wherever. But Shan was actually he had a job working for a recording studio called Bonafide Studios, where I had previously recorded like some of the other tracks for The Voice and for the not Fever Dogs, just The Voice, I think. Yeah, and so I knew the studio, and he was like, because when we first was going to meet him, like, we was like, right, so we'll book a rehearsal, and he was like, well, why don't you just come along to my studio, and then we can use the room for free. And yeah, so me and Spug went along, and me, him and Shan sat in one of their very small and dingy rooms, but yeah, we sat there and went through the tracks and that, and he was a pretty good bass player as well, you know what I mean? He was more our age as well, and yeah, it was sounding pretty good, you know what I mean? And then obviously we had to replace Ed as well, and that came in the form of a drummer that, other than Matty Benson, he's my favourite drummer I've ever played with. His name's Sam Talent, and yeah, you're going to hear his name in the all the episodes now. He's on the scene, you know what I mean? It was quite funny, like, because the first day that I met first day that I met Sam Talent was the first day that I met my wife. It was funny because we had a little date planned, and that sort of seemed to coincide with one of our rehearsal sessions at the I can't remember, Z1, I think it was called, the studio just on Camden Road. So my wife Angie turned up, and I took her with me to the rehearsal, and yeah, so it was me, Spug and Shan, and Sam Talent came that day for his first rehearsal with us. Nuts. The next track that I'm going to play for you it's another track that me and Spug wrote together. It's called Auburn Sunset, and this ain't like a proper take yet. This is it. We was at Bonafide Studios, and basically there was no one booked into the recording room or wwhatever, so Shan was friends with the engineer, like, and basically Spuggy had this chord sequence, and he was like to me, right, something to this, and I was like, all right, sweet. So I done my usual, got my pen and paper out, and started writing lyrics and that, and creating some sort of a melody over the top of what he was playing to me. And and Shan just said, like, oh, so we don't forget it, let's record it. And I was like, I ain't paying to record something that we've just written, like, in fun. He's like, paying? No. He goes, I work here. He goes, you don't pay, you just go in a room and we get recorded. And I was like, all right, sweet, let's do it. Let's get in the room and let's see what we can come up with, you know what I mean? So the lyrics that I'm singing ain't the final lyrics, they're just whatever's coming into my head, do you know what I mean? Like, and even like some of the chord sequences weren't what I was told they was going to be, do you know what I mean? They was just sort of like thinking in their head, right, chorus, and then they were sort of changing what they was playing, and I was just sort of having to go along with it and see what we had at the end. But we got a song out of it, so that was another Chapman Noosa track, and I will play that for you now. Yes, and that was Auburn Sunset. That was the actual time that the song was being written. That was it. That was the tune being written. Yeah, nuts. All right, so I've been looking around for stuff that was done by me, Spug, Shan, and Sam, but do you know what? I just couldn't find nothing. I was looking everywhere. So what have I got next? Oh yeah, okay. So all right, so more changes in the band happened. Basically, this is where I sort of say goodbye to Spug, and me and Spug the part are, do you know what I mean, being together in music. Yeah, so basically we didn't fall out or nothing. It was just that Spuggy is quite inspired by Italy, and he had an Italian girlfriend, and I think she'd had enough of London, of England, and decided that she was gonna go home, and so Spug was left in a dilemma. Do you know what I mean? Do I go? Do I stay or whatever? But Spuggy's actually a chef, and he loves cooking Italian food as well. So it was a move for his missus and for his career. You know what I mean? So sadly, Spug departed me, and he went to Italy, and Sam Talent. Yeah, I mean, like, we'd played quite a few gigs and all that, and it was just Sam's time to go as well, and sadly Shan's time to go as well. So I was like on my own, like, so, and it was quite funny though, because I ended up speaking to Chris, who was the bass player originally, like, and I was just chatting to him on the phone and that, and like, I was telling him that Spug had gone, and then he was like, "Spug's gone?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "I'll come back if you want." And I was like, "Yeah, sweet." And he's like, "But I don't want to play bass." And I was like, "Well, what are you going to do, play drums?" And he's like, No, I'll play lead guitar." And I was like, "Lead guitar?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Well, can you play lead guitar?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, thanks for telling me." Yeah, so Chris came back on board, and then me and Chris found this guy called Richard, who was a great bass player. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, great bass player. That's where we leave that. And then drummer wise, we, for a friend, found a guy called Jack Yetton, who was a great drummer. Yeah, and we'll leave that at that as well. Yeah, so this next track that I've got for you is us playing on my mind at the Constitution in Camden. It's a pub in Camden. Yeah, like they had like a basement gig area. Like, it's quite cool actually. Yeah, but yeah, Richard's not with us because I don't know what his excuse was, but he couldn't make the gig. So then that made our full set go down into like an acousticy sort of gig. You know what I mean? With me on rhythm and singing. Chris is playing lead guitar, and then Jack is doing a bit of percussion and a bit of guitar as well. But I think he was like, he had an acoustic guitar, but he was like sort of playing the bass notes and doing a bit of percussion, like obviously in other songs or whatever. But I think in this song he's playing like a bassy sort of thing. Yeah, so the band has morphed again into something completely different. But yeah. Oh, you can. It's quite funny actually, because one of my pals, one of my good pals, a girl called Amber, you can hear her singing in the crowd. Like, it sounds quite good. All right, so have a listen to this, and then we'll go where we're going.
Yeah, say
Yes, and that was the Constitution. That was actually a charity show that I'm not sure, but I think Amber had something to do with setting it up. It was for a friend of hers that got burnt, I think. So they put this charity night at the Constitution together and like got loads of bands to play in that and tried to raise some money. I'm not sure how well they done, but hopefully they done well. Yes, so what have I got next? Okay, so now so we're it's me, Chris, Richard and Jack, and we're playing quite a few gigs around London. Went out to Ruislip, went to a few places, Essex, Chelmsford and that, and then we got a gig at the Cavern in Liverpool, but before we went to the Cavern, we played a gig at the Monto Water Rats in Gray's Inn Road down King's Cross, and yeah, I can remember that gig. Because that venue is a classic venue. That and like the Dublin Castle, they're just classic venues. But I remember we put together. Me and Chris did it actually. Just the two of us. We recorded like a 3-track CD to give out to everyone at the Water Rats. It was like our little plan to make people think, oh, I'll go along and get a free CD. But it was also, we was trying to promote our Liverpool excursion, if you like, as well at the same time. Yeah, so me and Chris, like, we recorded 3 of our tracks, like, acoustically. And we put this CD together that everybody that turned up to the Water Rats got one of these CDs, and then any that we had left, we just stuck them on the bus with us up to Liverpool and give them out to anyone that was lucky enough to get seats on the bus. Yeah, and I also recorded like a little intro to the CD just to say thank you to people for being at the Water Rats or whatever, do you know what I mean? So I've actually found it, so I'll play that to you now. So this is the intro to this free CD. Nice one. Hello, this is John from Natalie. If you're listening to this, then you probably came to our Water Rats gig on 27th of February 2011. I'd just like to say thanks on behalf of me, Chris, Richard and Jack. Hope you enjoyed the gig. Hope you enjoyed this CD. We put together 3 of our tunes, acoustic version. Hope to see you on the 15th for our acoustic gig, and then the lucky 11 of you who are on the bus on the 18th up to the Cavern in Liverpool. Thanks a lot. Love you guys, appreciate it. Yes, and that was the intro to the free CD that everybody got in February 2011 at Monto Water Rats. Yeah, great gig. I remember that one. Good gig. And as I said in the intro, we played like a little acoustic show as well before we had the old bus up to Liverpool. Yeah, so I'll play you the 3 tracks that me and Chris put together for this free CD. The first one is History, and yeah, have a listen, see what you think. Nice one.
Upon the wrinkles on my face, each line represents a time. We're good and bad, it's all mine. So where you hiding tonight? space for two, I think I might round it up, it's all the same. Do they even know my name? Illustrations of me are what I need, but pictures of Lily are what I see, running through my mind is the essence of time. Some say my history is gonna catch up with me. Ball of wall is my mind. Do you think you'll have the time to sort me out and set me free? Let me be where I want to be. Illustrations of me are what I need, but pictures of Lily are what I see, running through my mind is the essence of time. Some say my history is gonna catch up with me. Illustrations of me are what I need, but pictures of Lily are what I see, running through my mind is the essence of time. Some say my history is gonna catch up with me.
And that was History, recorded with me and Chris acoustically. Okay, so I've still got two more tracks on this little CD that we made. The next track, you've heard other versions of it. It's No One Knows Him. Yeah, so History was one of my own tracks. No One Knows Him, me and Amon. Okay, and this version goes a little bit like this.
Look in the mirror, and my reflection looks back at me, yeah. The guy who looks so familiar life changes day by day, yeah, but his man stays the same. A guy who cares for nobody, and 'cause he thinks life's a game. No one knows who he is, and no one knows what's his name. They all think that he is God. Why won't he let us play the game? He don't know where he's going, and he don't know where he's been. He has probably forgotten all the things that he's seen. No one knows his future, and no one knows his past. They all think that he's the winner. How long will it all last? No one knows who he is, and no one knows what's his name. They all think that he is God. Why won't he let us play the game? No one knows his future, and no one knows his past. They all think that he's the winner. How long will it all last? He's still the winner. His war is won now, baby. He's still the winner, and no one knows him. Yeah, no one knows him, and no one knows him. Yeah, no one knows him.
And that was No One Knows Him. Okay, so we got one more to come off this CD. It's been played in this episode already. It's On My Mind. Let's have a listen to On My Mind, and then we can have a little chat, and then a chap's out, and then goodbye for this month. All right, yeah, sweet. On My Mind goes a bit like this.
Back, that's when I feel safe. Yes, safe. sure I'm alright, but once she knows that I'm okay, she says stay and keep away from the tally. Yeah, the tally. Oh, the tally. Oh, the tally. I'm missing her like mad. Now that she's gone, I'm sad. She's on my mind tonight, and I've got to put the fight to bring her back where she belongs. There's no more holidays and no more funds for her, my sweet her. Oh, her, my sweet her. I'm missing her like mad. Now that she's gone, I'm sad. She's on my mind tonight, and I've got to put the fight to bring her back where she belongs. There's no more holidays and no more funds for her, my sweet her. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so that was the acoustic CD that me and Chris put together for a freebie on the old Water Rats gig before we went up to Liverpool. Liverpool, yeah. The Beatles. Yeah, no, it was amazing. There was like 15 of us on the bus. Richard didn't get on the bus. Him and his girlfriend drove up in their car. But that was a crazy night, man. Crazy. Yeah. What an experience to be playing at the Cavern. It weren't like we was playing in that sort of arch, you know what I mean, like the Beatles back in the day. Like, it's like the Cavern's got like, well, it's been rebuilt, I think, brick by brick, but it's got like a slightly larger venue like attached to it, and we was playing out there. But just an experience, you know what I mean, to be in Liverpool and the Cavern. I think that's the furthest north I've ever been. It was a really, really top time. I can remember we had some crazy people with us, like Adam Asbo, and Amber was with us, and Amber was proper sweet, man. It's like we turned up on the day and she'd been to a shop like Snappy Snaps or something, and she'd had these t-shirts made with like big Tally logos on the front, all with like a swirling mod target, you know what I mean. It was wicked, like, and she's given that to everyone on the bus. And like when we played the gig, I think Chris was wearing one, and I'm not sure, it might have been Jack, I'm not sure, but yeah, that was top. And if I get the chance, I'll definitely do it again, man. Yeah. So from here, the Tally got better musically, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to sacrifice quite a lot for the music, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like do I want? Do you know what I mean? It's like now I'm sort of like approaching 40, and I know that bus has gone, you know what I mean? And so now with the music, I'm just gonna have fun, you know what I mean? Just get people around me that I love, and you know what I mean, and let's just have fun. Yeah, loads more to come. Here's to the next 40 years. Back in this episode, two people, Sam Talent and Shan, that haven't really been mentioned that much, but when they was in the band, it was absolutely amazing. When it was me, Spug, Shan and Sam, we had some right laughs, some mental parties, and it was just mad. But it's a shame that I can't find anything of when they was in the band. I remember we played a gig at Dingwalls in Camden and the Pride Gallery. Actually, I can't believe that no one's like shot any film or recorded any audio, but I couldn't find it. So do you know what I mean? Like, if I do find it by the time I do the last tally episode, I will stick it in there, and it'll just be sort of like a jump back, a quick jump back. But yeah, good stuff, man. Amazing. Okay, so I'm just trying to think if I've forgot to mention anything else. If I have, again, comments below, stick it in there. Do you know what I mean? We can have a chat or an argument, or we can make love over the comments. You know what I mean? But so I suppose all we've got left now is the chap tale. Okay, so let's have a bit of chap tale then.
CHAP CAST live from Chapman Studios.
Chap tales. Don't you wanna hear some chap tales?
Yes, so we're at the chap tale at the end of episode 13. Here we go. Alright, so I've got a short and sweet and funny little chap tale for you this month. Okay, so I've been mentioning like the gigs that the Tally have been playing or whatever, and last episode we had the Purple Tail, which was our second gig, and then we had tracks from the Bull and Gate, which was our fourth gig. But in between the two, we played a gig at a place in Camden called Belushi's, which you wouldn't put down as a live venue really. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen another band play there, and I don't know if they still play bands there now, but somehow we got a gig there. And anyway, so, well, you can tell it weren't a proper venue because they didn't even have a proper stage. Like, the band was at like crowd level, if you know what I mean. Like, so yeah, we had a few faces down there that night. So we're playing, like, and obviously I've mentioned my minces not being great, and now I'm registered blind. But at the time, I thought I was all right at the time, but I weren't. But anyway, yeah, because I walked off the stage in the Purple Turtle, and then the next gig, like, it was so funny. So we're there, we're playing. I'm playing rhythm guitar and singing. Spugs to my left, Ed's behind me, Chris to my right, and we're playing, and I sort of like, I sing a chorus or whatever, and then I step back from the mic. I don't know why I done it, and then the next verse is coming up, but can I see the mic? No, I can't. So I'm sort of like, the verse is coming, I'm trying to look at Spug to see if he could sort of help me out a bit. No one's really looking at me, and I'm like, oh shit. And yeah, so basically what I had to do is I just sort of took a step forward about the same amount as I took the step back, and then I just sort of shouted the chorus out into the venue. And it was funny because I was like, I can't remember what song it was, but I was singing the chorus, like I started singing the chorus, and I had to sort of move my head, like, and then as my mouth's gone across the mic, obviously it's got loud and you can hear me singing, where before I was sort of shouting into the abyss. But so that's and then it was like I moved my head across, and then I heard my voice get louder, and I was like, right, that's it. So I moved my head forward a bit, bashed my face on the mic, but I was quite happy about that because at least I had the mic and I could, you know what I mean, I could sing. It's mad as well because I'm playing guitar. I can't like start wailing my arms around looking for things, you know what I mean, like. So anyway, I found a mic and carried on with a song, and all was good. And also in the same gig, it was mental, right? Because where we were standing, like to my left was Spug, and then to his left was the door to get into the pub, right? So we're playing again. I can't remember what song we're playing, but I had the guitar in my hand, so I know it was one of the ones I play guitar on. So we're playing, like, and then like Spug sort of looked at me in like the solo or whatever, and then he's sort of gone to me. He said, we ain't got enough people in here. And I was like, well, there's about 50, that's right, isn't it? And he's like, no, we ain't got enough people. And I was like, well, what are you gonna do about it? And he went, I'm gonna go and get some. And I was like, what? I said, we're playing. And he said, I know. So he sort of walked to his left, like he had a long guitar lead. He's gone out the pub into Camden High Street, still playing, like, and he's shouting to people in the street, like, oi, come and see my band, come and see my band. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was cracking up. Ed was cracking up as well. Chris is like looking as if to say, oh God, what have I got myself involved in? But so he's outside. Then he actually got about 6 more people in the venue, like, and the geezer on the door who's taking the dough, he's looking at Spuggy as well, cracking up, like, and then Spug's like come back in, walked over to where we were playing, you know what I mean, just carried on, like. But yeah, 2 little short, sweet little stories for you. Yes. Okay. Well, looks like we've come to the end of another episode. 13 done. 14's up next. Here we go. I'd just like to hope you've all like had a great new year stepping in. I know it's hard with COVID and that. But just look to the future, man. We're gonna get out of this, and then things will get better. Do you know what I mean? Like, always look on the bright side, man. Try not to dwell on it too much. I know that people have had a lot of heartache over losing people and that, and all our hearts are as one in this situation. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't even know what to say about it, so I just don't really want to talk about it, you know what I mean? But yeah, thanks for listening and that, and I hope it was alright. Message me in the comments if you want to hear anything else or know anything else or whatever, or call me a mug or whatever. Nah, sweet. Okay, so I will speak to you all next month when we wrap things up with a tally, but we will go into like the final stages of the tally, you know what I mean, where this band ended. Yeah. Okay, so nice one. See you next month. Sweet.